So this is the start of my new Rubo style workbench build. I already have the top, the majority of the top glued up. I flattened it with a router sled and then smoothed it with a hand plane. And now I'm going to start working on the tool tray, which will just go right here. I'm going to be using this large piece of birch flooring, which I got for free from my dad's work because they didn't need it anymore. It was going to go to the dumpster, so I salvaged it. And this wood is all salvaged, what I call kicker boards. They're just shipping boards. So this workbench is going to be almost completely free, except for the vise, which will be like 50 bucks, and the casters, which will be about 50 bucks as well. So now I'm straightening one edge on this board. We're gonna make this milling process fast because you've probably seen it in another video. So let's go. So for the joinery, connecting the sides to this back piece, I'm going to be using single tail dovetails. Multiple tails just doesn't really make sense on this small of a piece, and I don't have a small enough chisel to fit in between those tails, so I'm going to be doing a single tail, and I'm going to cut that with the saw that I just made in the last video. So let's get started. Now I'm cross-cutting the shoulders for the dovetail. Boom. Now I'm cutting the tails. I had to shift to this kind of makeshift vise because this one would rack too much because of how long this thing is. So I'm just going to cut out the tails with my saw. Now I'm using a coping saw to hog out all the waste in the tail. This is going to take a while. Now I'm chopping out the waste. So, finished the frame for the tool tray. It's not completely done yet. I still want to just like sand it and finish it, but got the dovetails cut and glued in place. Now we need to cut the bottom for the tool tray, and I'm just going to cut that out of this piece of plywood. So let's get to that. So now I'm finishing the bench top with just Odie's oil. It's my favorite finish. I use it on everything. It's actually quite durable, so it'll work quite well here. So I installed the tool tray onto the top of the bench just using screws, and I installed the shelf or whatever onto the tool tray frame, just using screws. The dovetails were just for practice, and it worked really well. I got the bench all finished up, so now that's done. I have to start working on the base of the bench, so I'm gonna bring you over here to my old bench. It's still pretty decent. It's got a lot of good wood in it, so I'll be using that and I'll save quite a bit of money. I'm gonna take this all apart and go from there. So I got the workbench completely disassembled and taken apart. I'm gonna be using the big legs from the workbench as the legs for my new bench. And since my miter station was disassembled, I now have to work on the floor. But meh, it'll work. So now I'm just gonna smooth out all the rough parts of these boards with my jack plane so they won't look terrible. And then I'm gonna start cutting all the joints for this bench. I got all the legs cleaned up and 2x4s for the stretchers cut to size. So now I'm gonna get to work on cutting the bridle joints to attach the legs to the stretchers. So things didn't go as planned with the bridle joints. I am not very good at cutting things by hand yet, so that didn't go well. So I just ended up using screws to attach these stretchers to the legs, and then screws to attach the stretchers to the top. And it's at a pretty good height. I'm liking, very sturdy. I'm liking it so far. I'm gonna put some more stretchers down here just to make it all very sturdy. It's going well. It's a couple days later and I've finished building the bench at this point. Got the vise that I bought for 50 bucks mounted. It ain't the best vise, but it will do for now. Shop vac under here, stretchers, dog holes. Got everything just up on my wall as well, because everything had to kind of change positions. Got the miter station built. It all works pretty well. It's heavy, it's sturdy. I might add a couple extra like braces to it at some point, but it works really well. It's cheap, it's pretty easy to build, it works quite well, it's mobile, and it's compact. So this is really great workbench. Really happy I decided to build this, and it turned out great.